Alright, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to KEEM Vlogs, and today we're going to be talking about using only one lens and how it helped me in my photography journey and how much it can help you grow. So first time when I did start my photography, a friend of mine, well actually my mentor, his name is Jan, he told me to go ahead and get the Nifty 50 for Canon, and it will help me focus more on portraits because I told him I want to get into portraits photography. And when I did pick up that 50mm, oh my goodness, it was a game changer because all I knew was kit lenses. I didn't know what lens to get or whatever it was. So getting that 50mm kind of helped me focus on just the subject and also the compositions. So with just having one composition, I'm not always switching up into 35, 50 or zooming in and out, confusing myself basically in the very beginning, because photography in the beginning is really overwhelming. There's a lot of things that go into it. Of course, you have to learn the how ISO works, shutter speed, and also aperture, and then on top of that, focal length. So I did think that just having a prime lens definitely helped that out. Also, back then with prime lenses, it's a known fact that it is a lot sharper than zoom lenses, but nowadays I know that zoom lenses have advance in technology or glass in itself that is as good as a prime. And with the 50mm, it helped me narrow down. I know it zoomed in with the 50, but it helped me narrow down, like I said, focus on composition. So I would just I would Google it or go on Instagram, look for inspiration of 50mm, and then see how they would use that. And I found out that with portraits, a lot of people do like shooting with a 50mm because it is aesthetically pleasing to the eyes and also to the subject, especially for portraits as well. And later on down in my photography, after I did 50, I did 35mm. So I went a lot wider because I wanted to get more into street photography. And while I was doing that, I had to get used to having a wider range. So that forced me to grow as well. So with a 35mm, it's not the widest lens, of course, but also now you get to focus on the subject. So what I know I did say that I wanted to start it off with street photography, but with the 35mm, I also did a couple of portrait shoots with it. So with the 35mm, it helped me kind of see things a lot differently now, because that subject, now I would have to incorporate the setting a lot more. So not just always, aperture all the way wide open, you can't even see the background, but with the 35mm, you're focused more. Well, not focus more, but also now you got to pay attention to the setting if you want to frame that subject, leading lines, and all that. So lastly, this year, this is why I wanted to make this video, I picked up a 28mm, and I'm not a wide angle type dude, or a photographer. I'm not used to wide lenses. 35 was the widest I've ever used, and that's because I wanted something for my travel. So with the 28mm, I wanted to get everything into the frame, and I'm glad I did that. So I picked up a Leica Q3, and that helped me basically change how I would frame my photos, just because it is like a lot wider, like I said. So for my last video, I know I'll talk about Paris, but my next one I'll be talking about my trip in Rome, but it's kind of like the same thing. So whenever you're taking photos of like the monument, like per se when I was at the Pantheon, 28mm, I get to basically take a photo of all and everything, not just the subject itself, but everything around what's going on and the people. And I believe that wider lenses is really good for travel photography. At travels, it was so nice to have to get everything already, because later on you could always crop, but I wanted to focus just on 28mm. And once you get used to that, it's hard to basically just stick with a 35 or 50 now, because you get to frame a lot more to your photos, and you have that 60 megapixel later on with me for my Q3, so I could just zoom in. Even on 24 megapixel, you could still zoom in plenty. If you're just gonna post it on Instagram or on Facebook or just on social media, you're not really gonna see that much of a difference. But with the 28mm, I'm glad that I did that. I believe I grew a lot this year just by sticking to another lens in my photography journey and sticking with just one prime lens that forced me to get more creative, to get me out of my comfort zone, and just take different type of photography that I'm used to. And that's how I guess we all grow. And I did like all the photos that I taken on my last trip with the 28mm, more than my 35 now. So I think I might be turning in 28mm type of guy now instead of 35mm. But that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully y'all like all the photos that I've been showing you guys with the 28mm. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.